Welcome to our team training and inspiration. Brooke and I
I have no internet at my house still. It's been 1 week that I have been without satellite because about, I don't know, 10 feet of snow fell off the roof and hit the satellite. And I don't know why, but the satellite guy does not want to climb up on a ladder with all the snow. So my boys shoveled it all out this weekend. And we're hoping he's coming up there today to hopefully everybody cross their fingers, say prayers that we can get a new satellite today. We can finally have internet. I text Emily at like 11
Dear
p.m.
Santa.
the night before. And I'm
last night she's like, "Can I come down to your house?"
Can
I'm
I
like,
come
"Yes."
work? I'm trying to hotspot, but it doesn't always work. So anyways, we're here together today and this is fun.
I love it.
We're excited about this team call. We're excited about all the incredible people that are going to share today with us. We're excited to have a special guest today as well. You may see her. And she is somebody that I met actually through doing like coaching and momentum movement and stuff. And she is incredible. She's a sapphire, almost a diamond. Last month, they had a new emerald on their team. And she's going to share about her story. I think it's fun every once in a while for you guys to basically, hear other people's stories, because I know you hear from people on our team. You hear from us a lot. And I just think it's so valuable. And I'm always really appreciative of other people that come on here and guest on this call and give of their time for free, just to pour into you guys so you can hear somebody else's story, because I don't always want to hear from the same people either. So anyway,
don't you want to hear me talk all day long, all the time?
No, I don't. And
gross.
And we are going to have tons and tons of people that watch this on replay. We switched our calls to daytime because it was just, it was hard for a lot of people at night. So we have a lot of people that watch this on the replay on the YouTube channel. So we're grateful for you, Andrea. I'm just going to turn the time over to you to start out, and then we have two other special guests at the end, Cher and Stephanie, that are going to share some recruiting tips with us today. So if you're wanting to increase your enrollments today, you wanted to really get some more people started today and have an incredible month, stick around for the whole call. So Andrea, tell us something like really interesting about you to start off, something that's interesting, where you're from, of course, and then just tell us your story.
Okay, hi guys. Well, first of all, thank you guys so much for having me on here. Okay, so I'm Andrea. I am a Sapphire ambassador, and I'm from Greenville, South Carolina, originally from West Virginia, but transplanted to South Carolina about 10 years ago. I used to live in Charleston, South Carolina, which I miss it dearly, but marriage, everything brought me here. So, I started Plexus right around probably 2000 and I want to say 16. And you guys, I probably like a lot of you guys, I just wanted to start for the products. I mean, that's just like how everyone starts their story. I just wanted to start for the products. And, my mom, I got started with my mom, and she's like a spitfire. She was like, "Oh, this is awesome. Like, it's going to help with my blood pressure and everything. Like, let me just tell all my friends." And all of a sudden I went fast start gold, and I was like, oh, okay. Sure. Like, I have to say I was a little bit of a skeptic. And whenever I got $1,000 deposited into my bank account within 30 days, I was like, okay, all right, this could be something. I was working with my husband in his law firm as a paralegal, and I literally could cry tears thinking about how I did not want to go sit behind a desk all day. It was not for me. I mean, he would be like, "Hey babe, yeah, you gotta sit down and in the front, you gotta be I would just roam, because I'm like, I can't sit here. I cannot sit still. I'm not made to sit still. And so when I got that first $1,000, I was like, all right, I could probably do this. I didn't have kids. We didn't have kids at the time. But a year later I got pregnant. And so that idea of staying home, but still making an impact, just because that's who I am. I want to still contribute to my family. I still want to have something of my own. And I've never been a mom before, but I knew I wanted to be something other than just mom. Because I've always had a job since I was 16, and just felt like, okay, if I'm going to stay home, I've got to have something of my own. And I really like the idea of, just working with women, and, I love health and wellness. And so I was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. And so, I think, when I had West, I think I was maybe a senior Ruby ambassador. Okay. So we traveled kind of fast, went from rank gold, senior gold, Ruby, senior Ruby consecutively. And then everything, I was like, this is easy. Like Emerald, here I come. And then it was like, I hit senior Ruby at convention in Vegas. I think it was like 2016 or 17 when we went to Vegas. And I was like working at convention and I hit it. And it was like everything just like stopped, because I will tell you guys, have you guys ever felt like you hit a rank and you're like, oh, just let me relax. Like, let me just take like my foot off the brake just a little bit because I earned it, right? That was what I did. And guess what? I didn't return to Plexus for 6 or 7 months. I let like all of this like overwhelm and everything get to me. And you guys, it took me, my sponsor was like, where did you go? Like, what happened? You just hit senior Ruby. And I just felt like I don't know, like I just took my foot off the brake, and then my team just started to just one by one. And I didn't know how to work in momentum or rest in momentum, so to say, as Brooke and Emily say. And I didn't know how to do that. That was just something that didn't even think, because I thought that I had to just go hardcore all the time, 24/7. And I came to burnout because I never allowed myself time to like maybe not take a step back, but to kind of organize my team in the way that would be a strong foundation. And so, I will tell you that it is way easier to continue to push through and lean in to your struggles and not let life knock you down. And like when you're in, I see so many people, and myself included, that's what happened to me. Is I got into like a weird stage and I just made all these excuses as to why I couldn't show up for Plexus. And it was that much harder to get back in the routine of doing my IPA, reaching out to people, connecting, like all of that stuff, even getting back in with my team, because you think, well, I just left for like 6 months. Are they even going to want me to like be their leader again? Like, are they even going to want me to work beside of them? And so anyways, I reached out, mended some, friendships and relationships. And I was like, you know what, I'm ready to do this. And so May of 2019, I went Emerald, but this was not, I literally just put in the time over and over and over again. And I'm like, I want this. I want this. And I don't think my team, and I'm going to be, Brooke said to be honest and real. So I'm going to be super straightforward. So the team that took me to Emerald, we weren't a strong foundation. There was no duplication going on. It was very shallow. The community really lacked in my team, and it was all me because I did not take enough time to grow as a leader. And find out what made my team tick. And you guys, that is so important, to figure out who's on your team and connect with your team and really love on your team. And I hit Emerald May 2019, 1,500 points. I went a little 14 points over. And I remember being like, whoo, yes, like, whoo. And the next month, I dropped down to 900 points. And then it just kept bleeding and bleeding and bleeding until I was down to 500 points. And I was like, you know what? This is all me. And I was like, you know what? I know why. I had to take a step back and look, and I say, I know why this happened, because I didn't learn to duplicate. I wasn't pushing my team to just get one person or do a shout out, or, I was afraid of all of that. Like, I was afraid myself to ask for the shout out, and I didn't really understand how important it was to develop. Like, I could develop a silver, but were we strong like silver developers? No, not at all. Because it starts from the top. I wasn't. And so I knew my team wasn't, right? And so, after that, I was like, okay, like this kind of sucks, but I'm going to rebuild, because I want you guys to understand something. The team that gets you to these big ranks is not going to necessarily be the team that's going to take you to the next. It's kind of like, what is it like when you go mining and you shift or sift all of the everything out of it, and then like some gems and stones remain? You're going to have those people in there that are in it that are going to still be with you. But a lot of the times we get so hung up on, we're like, oh my gosh, Sally, like she said she's going to quit. I'm never going to be able to rank again. Like, oh my gosh, like no, guys, I promise you there's going to be another Sally. You have to pour into them though. Okay. Like there's going to be another Sally, but you have to create that Sally. Right. And so that's one of the things that I didn't realize. I got so like ho hum about all of these people dropping off. And I'm like, well, this is my only team. I'm never going to build another team. And so I like sat there and like little pity party, just a tiny one for myself. And then I was like, okay, snap out of it. Like, you've got to get going. Well, in the like interim of this, my sponsor decided to take a step back. She was at Emerald and she decided to take a step back. Okay. So I will say that you can absolutely crush your business with or without a sponsor that is active. I will just that do not ever use that as a handicap, because I will tell you that was the biggest blessing, because I was literally just riding on the coattails. I was like, well, whatever she wants to do, I'll just do it, just following along, and that's how you get so comfortable underneath someone. And you forget that you are actually really awesome at doing the things. And so I was like, you know what? This is my chance. Like, this is my chance to either completely quit, because if I'm taking time away from my family and I'm just halfway showing up, like, that's crap. Like, I think that if I'm taking time away from my family, I'm going to show up fully. Because then I had my son, and now I have another baby who's 8 months old. And so I know that family time obviously is super valuable. And I was like, you know what? I want to do this like the real way. Like, I want to get good at duplication. I want to like truly lock in on all the things that make a team run well. And so that in November of 2019, I sat down at my kitchen table and I was like, all right, system, let's do this. It was something that I got like sweat pouring out, because I'm like, oh, if I couldn't put it out perfectly, I didn't want to put it out at all. But I was like, you know what? No, like it's never going to be perfect. You're always going to be like changing and editing and refining. And so I remember like throwing it up on my team page, and I was like, I had like maybe 2 people. She's pushing for Sapphire this month, my friend Brianna, and my girl Heather, who's in Emerald. And so it was just us. And I was like, girls, thank you for still being with me. Like, let's do this. And they were like, okay. And so I was like, all right, everyone that comes in, we're just going to run them through this system. And I know it's going to take 90 days. So let's just not be judgmental on day 30. Okay. Like, let's just do it. And so you guys, I went to the Align retreat in Palm Springs. I took my mom with me because I was like, I've got to like get a clear headspace. I need to be out of my house and I need to be learning. I was like a new mom and I was like, I just need to like feel like myself. And so my mom and I went to Palm Springs and it was amazing. And there, honestly, like, is where I was like, you know what, like I can do this. Like all of the people that Brooke had pour into us there was amazing. I mean, just finding out, like, just working within yourself, and you can't forget to do that personal development. And actually, you guys literally invest. I tell my team, you always have to invest. You can't, I mean, podcast and everything is great, but get yourself to somewhere, or now it's virtual, get yourself to something virtual. And ever since then, I've done every single momentum movement. And it has truly changed. Like Brianna, she's like my main girl. Like, we just love them because it keeps us accountable. And this month I wanted to get 20 of my teammates in there, and we got, I think 18 are in there this month. And it's just incredible how we have a chat thread, and it's just so amazing. So you guys have incredible leaders. I mean, literally the most incredible leaders that just pour into you guys. And I know sometimes it's, they give you all the goods and you're thinking, well, I probably already know everything they're teaching. You guys, I bet you don't, because this momentum movement is, it's true, but my team does the same thing. They're like, oh, Andrea, and I'm like, wait, but this is good stuff, but they hear it from like Brooke or Emily and they're like, oh, this is awesome. You just hear it differently from everybody else. And I'm telling you guys, the momentum movement makes you put it into action quick. Those marching orders, you're like, I got to do this. Like, time, I paid for this. I got to get my stuff in. So if you haven't joined momentum movement, join it. I think, is people still allowed to get in, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do it, you guys.
Yes, you can buy the VIP ticket and general admission ticket.
I'm VIP because I need that next month too. So you guys do the VIP, just commit. Don't go halfway, just commit, go all the way. Okay. So after that, I went from having 650 points in January of 2020. And I went Sapphire in last year, November 2020. I'm like, what year is it? 2020. And so you guys, I just want you guys to understand that you're not going to put a system in place, or you're not going to start something for 30 days and it work. Okay. There's going to be setbacks. You're going to lose points. You're going to lose leaders. You're going to have family, things happen, whatever it may be, because it's life. But you have to truly understand where your why is rooted. And it took me a really long time to understand my why, because I used to always be like, well, I just love to help people. And when people tell me that, I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, helping people is great, but it's not going to wake your butt up out of bed at like 5 o'clock when you know that you've got to get the things done before the kids get up. So your why is going to be changing also, which I'm sure you guys know that, but really sit for a second and think about, what is your why, and why do you want to show up every day? And, I used to ask my team, do you want this? But now it's like, are you going to go get it? Like, how will you get it? Not, do you want it? Because I know a lot of the times we can say, yes, like we want it, but we lack in the showing up department. We lack in putting the action. And if you're sitting here thinking like, I don't know even where to start, just put something in place, start small. Maybe you haven't even like connected with anybody for like the longest time. Just start small. Be like, I'm going to make 3 connections a day, and then add 2 more, and then 2 more, and then 2 more. And then like by the end of the month, you could literally have like 20 connections in a day that you're making. And it's just, I think for me, it's just breaking it down into smaller chunks instead of looking at the whole picture and thinking, well, how am I going to get to diamond by May? Like, whoa, I'm just taking it day by day, week by week, and making sure that I'm plugging in, putting something good between my ears every day. You guys, I know it sounds cheesy, but you have to give yourself the good stuff before you can like go and train your team on anything. Before I do anything with my team, I always make sure I'm taken care of first, because I feel like I don't even know what I'm supposed to do unless I like pour into myself first. And that's so important, because sometimes we can be pulled every different way, and then we're like, feel like we're burnt out, but that's because you need to pour into yourself first. So anything else you guys want me to share? I'm like a chatterbox. I could like talk.
No, we're just sitting here saying how much we love you. We're like, this girl is gold. We love her. Well, you're sapphire, but you're diamond, baby.
Well, I just wanted to point out she went from 650 points to 3,000 points in like less than 11 months, basically 10 months. She went from 650 points to 3,000 points. And so we're always talking about how anything is possible. And I really, really do believe that. And I know that you've been working very consistently, and you've been very dedicated, and you haven't given up, and you're applying everything that you're learning. So the thing that I see, and from what you're talking about, is basically like, you don't have the attitude of, well, I've tried that before, or well, that just doesn't work for me. Like, I think that you're more like a sponge. And I think what people can take away from this is like, just be a sponge. Be a sponge and just try it out, but not just for a hot second, like really, really do it intentionally, and do it like you believe it's going to work, because there is such thing as the placebo effect. And there is nothing wrong with the placebo effect. Actually, it is an actual effect. In medicine, it's very well studied. And the placebo effect can cure a lot of issues. Just like in your business, like, why don't you just try it on and decide it's going to work if I post consistently? It's going to work if I do lives. It's going to work if me and my team decide to do 3-way messages. It's going to work if I put the 2 hours in every day. If you decide it's going to work and you believe it's going to work, you're like 80% more likely that it's going to work, right? Would you say that you had to just decide and believe, Andrea?
Yeah, I think that I just committed to this. Like, I'm in. This is for like the long game. I'm here until the end, like, honestly. And I think that when you decide that, you have like a relief.
Yes.
Well, because there's no expiration on the time, right? Yeah. It's just like raising babies. You don't just stop being a mom because you had a hard day. You're like, I can't put them back. They're here. I've got to finish this project until I die. So you just figure it out, right? And the thing that I kept thinking as you were talking is that the way that you achieve your goals in life is you have to be willing to suck at it first. And you talked about how you just sat there and you're like, I'm going to figure this out. I've got to figure this out. right? You didn't say like, this is not figure outable, this can't be done, and give excuses, right? You just decided, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to take the training. I'm going to do what they say or whoever says. And then, I think a lot of times our brains, like, we don't want to do something because we don't know how, right? That's just normal. But doing the things is how we learn how. So if we can just be smarter than our own thoughts and remind ourselves, I don't know how to do this. Perfect. The way to learn how to do this is to do it. Great. Okay. I can control my actions. It's the only thing you can control. So, really, you have the ball in your court at all times. And if you feel like you don't, you are literally not having awareness for your greatest power, which is yourself. And momentum comes from taking one step, it will follow you. So, you taking a step is what creates momentum. And as long as you leave the light on in your house and you burn that oil, right? Burning the midnight oil. That's like our candles that we have in the swag shop. I love those. Burning the midnight oil. Stop. If it's burning, mom's working. Like, I just love what they say because I'm like, we are the creators of whatever we want. And as long as we go, the energy follows. So you're the epitome of that. Oh, can you answer the question? We have amazing mamas on our team with lots of different age children, but we have a question from our moms that have babies. One in particular has 4 under 4. Her last 2 are twins. And then we have another mom here who's asking, she has 1 baby, and they are wanting to know what tips you have for building with new babies.
Okay, so it took me a minute to get this under my belt, and I'm definitely no pro, but I will say that I do like to start my day 30 to 40 minutes before my kids get up. That has been key. I'm not perfect at it, but I do know that I have a better day if I can get up and like get my workout in and then like shower or not shower, just throw my hair up in a bun, whatever, put some deodorant on. But having a plan every single day, like not just waking up and being like, so I don't know when I'm going to work my plexus business. I know I have to write in my planner, like work out, eat lunch, do plexus, like seriously. And if I do that, I follow it straight and it's like my day goes easier. So I'll say plan your dinners. If look at your week. If you have like a team call or a call, throw something in the crock pot. Those types of things make it easier. And then nap time. I work during nap time. And I know that from 2 to 4 every single day, my butt is in my seat and I'm working. And that is like a non-negotiable. Also too, I will say this, and I know this is probably going to be really hard for you guys. Some of you guys, I know Brooke and Emily say this, and the money that you're making right now isn't the money that you had before plexus. And so you can also invest that in someone coming maybe to watch your kids. And I just got someone to come watch my babies Tuesday and Thursday in the morning for 4 hours. And you guys, it has been a game changer for me. Like, it has been such a game changer. And if that's not possible, then nap time is your time to work. And no mom guilt, no mom guilt. You're here to change lives. And I will tell you that my son, he's 2.5 years old, and he knows when mommy's working, like he gets that, right? Like he knows that. And so it's okay to have that talk with them. And so just no mom guilt at all. Just be strategic about when you're working. And even night times too. I don't love to work at night, but if I have to, if my day's gone crazy, you can fit it in when the babies go to bed.
I love that. There's so many things that when you were saying them, Brooke and I were like, yeah, because we had little babies when we built our team to Diamond also. So
when I think about that, also finding the motivation and the energy to work when you have babies, because twice I had nursing babies. Started when I had my 5th that was 6 weeks old, was pregnant again, 2 years into the business, had another baby, my 6th baby. Is that you've got to have a fire and a desire. And if you have a fire and a desire, it doesn't matter if you're sleep deprived. Like, it sucks. And I was sleep deprived for sure. But if I was up nursing that baby, I was on my phone messaging people. I was following up. It's like I was a captive audience so many times, and I'd put on a Disney movie and I would be there with my toddler snuggling next to me, nursing a baby, working my business. And my fire and my desire and my passion was that was the thing that fueled me. And that was the thing that gave me energy when, like, by all like earthly standards, I should not have had the energy to work and do the things that I was doing, because I also, for a good portion of that, had all of my kids home and decided that it would be a great idea to homeschool my kids too, on top of that,
She
which,
did.
yeah, I thought, well, this is just going to be a piece of cake. Now that I'm Diamond, I'm just going to homeschool all my kids and then I'm going to have another baby. And it was the passion and the fire and the desire to create something different in my life and in my downline's life. And so I literally would be like, it doesn't matter if I'm tired, I need to get this done. And if I can get this done, I'll go to bed satisfied.
I think one of the things that I was thinking about this morning around this whole topic was I don't ever want my kids to be an excuse for me to not do something. For me personally, that's just a goal of mine. I don't want them to be an excuse for me to not show up. I want my kids to be why I show up and a reason why I say, as a family, you can't be in two sports, Brennan, because it's too much for us. And we are a family of balance and we all have needs and all of our needs are equally important. So you have a need to be in basketball. Mackenzie has a need to be in dance. I have a need to work. And we all have equal needs that are fine all being met. But because I want to work, then that means my kids can't do three things each, because for me that would drive me bonkers. But if your kids doing three things each is important to you as a mom and your business is important to you, then you just know that's how you're going to show up, that's how they're going to show up, and nothing has gone wrong. And I think there's always room to give yourself an excuse if you allow it. But if you don't allow the excuse, like, because whether you have a child that's super demanding or special needs, or just you find them to be really high maintenance, there's always an excuse for something, right? Like last year would have been a really good excuse for me to step away from my business because we were
And you could be valid in it.
I would totally validate
and nobody could judge you.
100%. Like last year when we were trying to when Dean was seeing neurologists and it was COVID and I literally couldn't get into any clinics and we were trying to see if he had autism. I mean, my stepmom was on the phone with me saying, Emily, it's fine, step away. Like people will understand. But at the same time, I was like, that's great. But I'm not willing to pull back in either area. So I just slept less last year because I wanted to keep my foot on the pedal in both places. Now, if that's not right for you, there's no judgment there. It's totally up to you. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. What I want you to hear is that if you at the end of the day wish that your business was in a different place and you find yourself making excuses all day long on why you can't do it, then it's time for you to have a self-reflection on yourself and say, I'm going to make some changes and I'm going to do more because I am dissatisfied. And my satisfaction is just as important as my child and my husband and anyone else. There's room for all of us to have satisfaction. And that is what having a team, a family on your side is capable of doing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving us of your time. We just love you so very much. And I know this is a gift to our team. And you can stay on or you can hop off if you want to. We're going to hear from two more incredible people. And one of them is my dear friend, Cherstyn, and she's also an emerald. Well, you're a sapphire, Andrea. Cherstyn's going to be sapphire soon. She's working on that. And she is an incredible example to me of so many things, also of a working mom and like making all of this happen. And sometimes like we'll be messaging each other and we're both like, we probably shouldn't be up right now. But do you remember that time, Cher, when I was in Florida And I don't know, it was like 1 a.m. or something. I was in Florida at Disney World and we were messaging back and forth. And I was probably like, I'm probably not modeling good boundaries right now. This is probably not good, but you know,
You're modeling work ethic.
I'm modeling work
and
ethic.
commitment.
Yeah, there we go. So Cher's going to share some thoughts with us, and then she's going to introduce our next
Oh,
guest.
and one other thing. Sorry, I just have, because this is my soapbox. You were also modeling good family time, because the reason why you were up late at night is because you were present with your family all day.
This is true.
So we can choose the way we want to look at it, but I think she was modeling really great family boundaries.
Yes.
Because she was with her family all day, which meant that she sacrificed a little bit of sleep at night. And to me, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One of my favorite things about Brooke, I just feel so spoiled that she is my sponsor. She's also one of my best friends, but she is my sponsor technically. But she has demonstrated over 5 years learning boundaries. We have been able to hear her candidly learn. It's been so wonderful to feel like I've had a little bit of a front row seat as she has figured out the momming thing, the homeschool thing, all the emotions, mom guilt. What am I choosing that? I mean, it's been wonderful and such a blessing and a gift to me. So I'm grateful for that. Happy to share a little bit today. And I'm going to tee off that the final speaker on the call is someone on my team. So Brooke just wanted me to go first, then kind of intro her. So yes, I'm Cherstyn Stockwell. I'm an emerald. I am pushing for sapphire next. And one thing that Brooke likes that for me to talk about has to do with just something I was able to, I think, figure out along the way and then be committed to and really just dig my heels in and be committed to. And it's just how I push and what that really means for me. So like right now, there's an awesome push, right? We've got $1 enrollment. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Use it, you guys. Use it, use it, use it. It's so fantastic. I think that something we hear often in our teams or even in, sideline teams or whatever is, burnout or push months are different than other months. And that was just driving me bonkers. I mean, that whole concept was driving me bananas. And I had to just be who I wanted to be and not have who I wanted to be slacking. I wanted to always have that feeling of pushing in a way that didn't feel like it was coming to an end. And the only reason it feels like it's coming to an end is if you treat it like I only have to push this hard sometimes. Well, that's not effective. That's not a good long-time strategy. And also, I wasn't happy. That's not happiness, and there are exceptions at times. If there's a special type of contest going on, or if you are super, super close to a goal and it does take a different level of push, I hope everybody here understands flexibility, but I'm talking about the norm, like the way I wanted to run my business. So, first and foremost is I'm incredibly intentional. So I had set a goal in my first year because Brooke told me to, and I trusted her, of at least sign up 3 people a month. Well, and I have done that. I mean, I can probably count on one hand in 5 years when that hasn't happened. Well, probably 4 years because I made that decision a year in. But either way, I just do it. And it's not like, how can I? I don't even put those words out in the universe. I do it. I just do it. I also have found that when I get to 3, I don't stop at 3 because I hit my goal at 3. I mean, I hit my 3 on the 9th this month, right? So I could be tempted if I wanted to have an easier month. Well, why would that be smart? Because it changes my brain. And then at the end of March, I've got to start all over again, rallying again. I don't want to have to change my brain. I just share always. And I've made peace with it and I love it. And it just becomes routine. And I was taught a long time ago by this cute little Chinese medicine doctor who said, you only have stress when things aren't routine. As soon as they become routine, the stress is gone. And I literally wrote that down. Like, things are only stress when they're not a routine. Once they're routine, they're not stressful. And he was spot on. So my 3 to 6 a month is just a no-brainer. I've gone past that. I've been lucky to get the 3 before, but no matter what, I know what I'm going to do. The other thing too is have so much faith and confidence in all the work you're doing. So I'm going to give you an example. Last month, I really wanted to just breathe new life into the year, my team. I mean, we had come from COVID and holidays and elections and heavy, heavy, heavy stuff. And I just wanted to reignite and just encourage some growth and life and energy back into the team. And I didn't call it a push month, or I didn't call it a re-rank month. I just wanted to blow past our ceiling. That's the language that I used. And it was really great. So many people did. And it just felt good. Well, we didn't stop. We're still it got us going. It's you just began and just keep going and stay happy. But one thing that happened with me is that everyone's asked me, were your points so high? Were your points so high? Well, they went up. I moved the needle. but they did not move up what people probably perceived they moved up from the energy I had all month. But I'm going to share something Brooke doesn't even know yet. I have people that have come out of the woodwork in the last 36 hours because of what I did last month that I haven't even had time to tell Brooke yet because I'm just doing it.
Yes.
Right?
This is what we always say.
Right?
It's like, why push? It's not going to be worth it. Yes, it is. There's always a new worker that comes out of a push, even if you don't hit your goal. Every single time.
Always. And Emily's so spot on. And it's because, so it's seed planting. So much good came out of February, you guys, that I didn't even care if I hit certain points. Now, I don't say that to not have the goals that are point months. I please don't take everything black and white, but I'm telling you, it was momentum and it felt so good and it was moving. And people have called me, and I'm going to give you one quick story before I turn the time over to Stephanie. I had a girl call me this weekend that I've worked on for 4 years. Well, guess what? In my February push month, breathe new life into my team, I had a different energy. I had a different attraction going on. I had a different joy going on, and she signed up. So I've been planting seeds really well with her appropriately, doing all the things for years. Great part of my month. So plant seeds, have faith in your seed planting, guys. They totally pop up, and have faith in timing, like Brooke was saying. So anyway, I'm going to turn the time over to Stephanie Eastman. Stephanie's been on the products for a couple of years. She's a dear, dear friend. When you guys hear from her right now, you just see she has nothing but light and love and positivity. And I literally call her if I need to like shift my brain. She's just beautiful in every way. She is amazing. She has zero shame talking to anybody. She just has no shame. She's just light and love and joy. And when she decided to go gold, she went that month because she decided, because she just shared the love, and she is completely energized by the feedback, and she wants to help people so much. So I'm really, really excited for you guys to hear from Stephanie Eastman. Stephanie, I don't know if you are unmuted.
Am I here now? Can you hear me?
Have at it, girl.
Okay, great. Well, I'm really glad that I would even be considered to talk about this, because I'm actually pretty new to the sharing side of it, even though I've been taking the products for a few years. But just a little bit about me. I'm 50 years old, and I have been totally into health and fitness my whole life. I'm the kind of person who dives into things and gets I love to learn everything that I can about every health condition. I've had my own health problems. My family has had health problems. And the extent that I go, most people would not go. So when when Cherstyn introduced me to Plexus, and by the way, Cherstyn and I have been friends for a long time, but we became reacquainted over social media because she was posting about Plexus, and I wanted to learn about gut health, and I'd kind of figured out some of my own health problems, but learning more about it actually made it easy for me to help other people, because what I did before was so difficult and costed so much money. And then when I started using Plexus products, I'm like, it can't be this easy. I'm that mom who like had green smoothies for my kids forever, and my kids have hated me for all these healthy things I do because they've always been gross, but they like Plexus and they can do it. And so to me, that's a really good sign that if my family and my kids will take it and will eat it and will like it, that that it's something that's very easy to share with people. But my main thing is I love helping people, and I kind of felt bad. I love helping people, and I love a good deal. Cherstyn can tell you that. I love a good deal. I was always the person waiting for the promo before I ordered my next thing. But when I started sharing Plexus, which was just like last November, it was Black Friday weekend that I actually started sharing it. And as soon as I started sharing with people, it was because it was a good deal, and I knew the products were awesome. And but because they were a good deal, I was like, oh man, I've got to tell people about this, because I pay $40 a year to buy these, and I don't get all these freebies. But if they sign up right now, they can have that. But as soon as I started sharing with people, I realized that I have been very close friends with a lot of people for a long time who have had health problems, and I have not cared about that. I mean, I'm sorry to say it so blunt, but I really could have been helping them for a long time, because I had a lot of knowledge and I had these awesome products, and I just I've been like, I knew that they had some things, and there's a lot of things I didn't know until I started inviting people, because I really don't talk to people about their poop very much. Well, now I do, but I didn't used to. And so my only regret is not really helping people earlier with this. I know a lot of people talk about the MLM thing, and I think I was there too, where I felt uncomfortable. I didn't want people to think I was, pushing it. But as soon as I realized how much it was helping people and how grateful people were, because I have not had anybody be negative with me about this, not one person. So I don't think people think that I'm just trying to make money. In fact, if it was just money, it wouldn't be enough for me, because it just doesn't, even though I totally want the money, I think the money is great. There's a million things I could do the money with. Helping people is where it's at for me. And so, but I wanted to also mention a couple things here that, first of all, being into health for as long as I have been, I will tell you that the very best products that I have ever bought, all of them are sold through direct sales, multi-level marketing companies. There's not one exception. And so I actually have memberships with several companies just so I can buy wholesale. And so if anybody's serious about their health, they're going to want products that are the majority of the product. In fact, like I said, no other products I can think of that I really love aren't sold this way. And so if you care about people and you care about their health, this is the only way I can think of where they can get high quality products where there's some accountability. Instead of just going to Whole Foods or Sprouts, Farmers Market or whatever, you're going to go and you have a team of people who will help you. Also, I wanted to say that whenever I share things with people, I like to make it a deal for them. And the great thing is that I was always waiting for the deal, but I've realized I can create a deal whenever I want. Cherstyn's my upline, and if I ever have an idea of creating my own deal, she'll meet me halfway. In fact, she'll usually go farther than me on helping me to create a perfect opportunity, because somehow it's easy for me to share when it's a deal. However, I will say this. The best deal is when I sign up one person. I didn't realize this until this last month, but I sign up one person and then I have them sign up their husband, their adult kids. And when they sign up 3 people, that's like the best deal ever, because basically it pays for product for them to be on the product for 4 months themselves and 3 other people. If it's in their own family, then they have enough product and it's almost paid for itself by that point. So they really have enough longevity of that product to really try it out. And then what I find is that my friends who have signed up that way to get all those freebies from signing people up, then they realize, hey, my husband wants to try this, and hey, my other kid has this problem. Things you never knew about come out when they actually have the product at their house and they know how easy it is to use it. I wanted to tell you, I don't know how much more time I have, if I should just take 1 more minute, or can you guys still hear me? Okay, great.
You're good.
Okay, great. So I wasn't really thinking about ways to share Plexus, because I've just shared it, and I've just been thinking of people that I know, and people who know me trust me because they know how completely insane, intense I get about diving into things. And so they trust me. So I haven't really thought about other ways outside of just reaching out to people and contacting them. But I would say that one of the ideas that came to me about helping people is some of the health problems that I've dealt with, or that my family has dealt with. I actually hopped onto Facebook this weekend and I looked for groups that dealt with those things. And I asked to become members of those groups. And I'm just kind of right there right now, just kind of hovering, kind of seeing what's happening. But I'm curious to know how many people I can help on those groups, because those people probably aren't using Plexus. And there's so many problems out there. There's really nothing that Plexus cannot help, because no matter how healthy you're eating, no matter how many good, I'm so sorry. Hello, are you still there? Okay. No matter how many good vitamins you're taking, you cannot, if your body is not ready to absorb the nutrition, none of that stuff is going to help you. So the gut is even more foundational, in my opinion, than a great multivitamin. And in my opinion, a great multivitamin is absolutely necessary for everyone, just even if you're healthy, to stay healthy. And so I think about, there's really nobody that can't benefit from these products. Also, they're gonna, and the Plexus products, to me, I don't really think it's Plexus so much that's helping people. I mean, I do and I don't. It's getting your gut healthy that's helping people. Plexus just happens to put it in a package that makes it easy, so they can keep up the habit, because everybody knows you don't just do something healthy. You don't go on a diet to lose weight for 1 month and resume back to whatever you're doing. So Plexus is sustainable because it's easy, and it's sustainable because it's affordable. And if you don't think it's affordable, oh, you have not tried high quality products, because for a great probiotic itself, I can be at my chiropractor's office and just the probiotic itself, minimum $40 minimum. And that's just for that. And the probiotic is great, but you're not going to see results unless you're killing off the bad bacteria, unless you're including the blood sugar balance, unless you're including everything. My daughter had, back in second grade, and she's 20 years old now, she had horrible problems. We took her to several doctors, and we found out she was, sensitive to gluten. And it turned out that when you have a sensitivity to gluten, it's never just one sensitivity. And so you can, you can go gluten-free, but you're probably not going to see results unless you also address everything else. And so with her, it was gluten, dairy, corn, everything else. And so once you address the whole thing, so whether, for me, one of my problems before was constipation. I was using magnesium like a laxative, and I would take probiotics, but every time I used probiotics, I would get constipated again. And until I tried Plexus, I was not able to take probiotics and stay regular. So I'm able to help. And I find that I really attract people who have the same problems that I have. But the good thing is, the people who have products, who have problems that I do not have, or that I have not dealt with my kids, I tap into Cher or Brooke, and they have helped so many people. They have been great. I include them in calls. I invite people to Zoom calls, and I just say, hey, I have a friend. I know I can help you with these things, but my friend has been doing this for years, and she's dealt with more health problems than I have. And I've never had anybody not be grateful for that. Like I almost think that people think, well, they're going to think I'm trying to sell them. That's never, ever, ever, ever the case. People are always so grateful. Oh, sorry, my kid's starting the piano. Hold on just a second. Anyway, do you have any questions for me?
No, that's just been awesome. Like, I love how fearlessly.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I just love how fearlessly you share. And I think you've just empowered a lot of people to have no shame over talking to people, messaging people. There's a lot of people here that are worried that people are just going to think they're trying to sell them something, or they're trying to make money. And we know that you wouldn't be here, all of you wouldn't be here, unless you actually believed in the products and you knew that they could help people. So that doesn't even need to be a thought that enters your mind. And it really does never feel like we're pitching people in three-way messages or three-way calls. We ask great questions, we listen, we develop rapport and trust, and we sincerely want to help people. And so if you're afraid and you're not really utilizing those three-way messages or the Zooms or the calls, like, listen, like, we give so much of our time, and Cher will say this, and Emily would agree with this. We give so much of our time, and sometimes it doesn't pan out. But guess what? We still give of our time, because we're hopeful that people will see the light and will want to try this. And for all the times that we've given our time that people haven't gotten started or haven't decided to do it, it's okay, because there are so many other times and so many more times when people do say yes and when people do get started. So it's worth the risk. And if you are finding that you're struggling with getting growth on your team, with getting duplication, with getting enrollments, you have to take a look at, am I utilizing all of the help that I could? Am I utilizing that third-party validation? And if you're not, it's time to do that. So anyway, thank you so much for sharing, Cher and Stephanie. I'm so grateful for you guys, and you're such a good example of being bold and fearless and faithful. And we really, really appreciate that. So hope you guys got a lot out of today's call. last day for a $1 membership. Go have fun with it. Just start some new conversations even. They don't even have to be people that you were already talking to. Some people think, oh, it's too late. I waited until the last day, and I'm like, no, who's on your heart? Who are you thinking about? Who do you need to talk to? Just reach out to them. You never know. They might be ready. They might have been watching. They might be struggling with something that today, because you thought of them, they're softer in their heart. They're more tender. They're more willing to listen. You'll never know unless you ask. So thanks again, you guys.
Bye.